Well, the good news is we
no need to worry. Did you send me a link or do I need to do another link?
I just
have it. Yeah, they told me. Francis, you recommend 2 hours?
That's what I told her. I mean, one of our reporters thought it was going to be more like an hour, but I think the consensus is 2 hours.
What is the
Unfortunately.
I resisted for a long time. Yeah, there's really good.
You still have a 9? Yeah. Oh, they did? Okay. So you basically got everything back.
He was like a cop movie. He was given to OJ's office. He was like, literally, like, out of 4 inches. I was like, this is like a first. I didn't know.
Yeah.
You gave me my money back? You didn't like this 7 years ago. No, yeah. So it was all simple. There's nothing they wanted to do. I don't, other than the ENCs and things that are everything is the same.
Oh.
Actually, my 8 and my 9 had been serviced.
Oh.
It's like
I keep
Yeah.
because you know it had just been used.
Yeah.
So it was.
Actually,
it was
I
all.
only realized I had it.
Yeah.
She's probably
All the lenses too, or no?
No, just the.
Oh, okay. No, I mean, did you just?
Oh no! Well, so the 3 lenses that I had that are full lenses that I had
Oh, they were
using as mine.
Yeah.
Were back in full, but I found them.
So you never had no lens?
I had a 24-105 books that didn't work, and then I had the big Fujinon servo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I only ever literally use that once a year.
Sucks. I have the pool six. Forgot to check it out. Back out.
Okay, so
It's all over the map.
these are the ones that
Not really so.
Yeah, he just emailed me. There's one available. I want to be like, yeah. But I know while I was gone on maternity leave, he used that one. So I kept monitoring. Yeah. Kept monitoring who all be using it and stuff. And then, yeah.
That's a tough one, because it's, I sort of bought, before I bought the two Amazons, they're not that expensive, but for energy stuff,
Yeah.
So,
you show up with
you know,
John,
I have been
I have a whole full set now. The only one I don't have is a camera. But like, yeah, the last year, I bought a year. So I'm pretty straight. So I would say I need to buy like lights.
nobody ever says
But I have like, I have everything basically. Except for, but I do have, I have 200s. Shit, I have everything except for a camera. Because I was like, that's the only thing. Every time before I used to just buy a camera. The cameras get old so quick. So I was like, buy the gear. That shit never dies, right? It's like it's always the same. Like,
and I think that
like, yeah. So that's why I was just like, well, let me buy all the gear and then if something does pop up, I can always use it. That would and so I'm happy about that. So now it's just like, oh, we did a little side work.
yeah.
Now, but I thought I was curious, it's like how they're doing it. I love it. They,
I mean they've been
no, like just Phoenix.
so I
You know, it's like
having your time
even when you said 3 days a week
first
and
row
then I don't have to do it, but I don't like the rockiness. I love the gear cheese.
which I think is actually probably that's would be in fastest game and do everything the most
But then I had like 6 weeks of, but I also then had like, you know, training to and I Harley hooked me up with we got a huge gig on, we'll see if it works out. Some guys moving in with like, I think the dog's for a day. It's a huge, ongoing, giant,
Oh wow.
it will be solid. I don't know.
Does have also a lot of release.
Yeah.
It's not really one for one.
Last week.
Oh wow.
It's really designed to be the person who's small.
Go solve.
It's like
Yeah.
so they're doing this thing where they're doing this demo for bar Chesapeake. And land playing this as like a demo for how crazy she can be.
Yeah.
But it's like so it's like 6 months out. So they
Yeah.
go the process.
As you. No, that's cool.
So that's like the engineers doing it, designing it, here's how we're gonna, so it's like you would, and then they'll put out this whole promo thing when they release the little mini thing.
Oh wow.
It's a huge project.
That's cool.
So I you know, I made it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I have, you know, line a little order. And then the other thing, I don't know if you
And so my buddy just left.
Got the green guys came through the green briefcases with Bondies.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Took a left and went that way.
I'm not going to get my.
Are you? I can speak. I know.
They're not done.
Did you say anything?
There is a search text. There's a certain logic to it. Like you can search.
Thank you. Fun vibes. Got a spicy.
Apparently something called the House Oversight Committee.
Yeah.
With Epstein. With
I mean, they said E, so it'd be Epstein.
Why don't you sit down? I'm sure.
Are you gonna?
This might be.
Yeah.
Oh, Blanche.
We don't know. It feels a little bit like a rumor that staff.
The gallery and white
Hearing
Not yet.
Not yet.
still in there.
But you see it now.
She's not done.
Got it.
I just want to make some comments. We just walked out of what has been, quite frankly, a complete disrespect of the process of one of our members. And quite frankly, the American public should be outraged at what is happening right now. I want to just start by saying that we opened up what was supposed to be a briefing by asking the Attorney General, which I did multiple times, if she would commit to follow the subpoena that is in place that compels her to answer questions that's under oath, transcribed, and then made available to the American people. And she refused on multiple occasions to commit to following the subpoena that Chairman Comer actually just put out. I asked her repeatedly that question. Other members asked her that question, and she would not commit to it. It is outrageous, it's infuriating, and it continues this White House cover-up of the Epstein files. It's also clear to us that this is being staged as some kind of fake hearing. We're in the hearing room. We've all been given 3 minutes of time by the chairman to ask questions. There's no briefing. There was no actual opening statement by the Attorney General or the Deputy AG. No oath. There was no, of course, she's not under oath. And she would not commit to actually going under oath and following the law. And so we have been frustrated the second this thing started. We did not get to ask any questions. This has been completely set up in a way that's been irresponsible and, quite frankly, we believe a way for the Attorney General to get out of her answering questions under oath and to the public, which we will not accept. And one of our members also was, quite frankly, attacked and insulted by the chairman, which is also not acceptable. And so we're not going to take that anymore. We look forward to asking all of our questions of the Attorney General when she comes in a deposition, under oath, transcribed, and then made available to the American people. That's not what this is. And Congresswoman Lee?
I just want to say thank you to the ranking member because
I think the Democrats of this committee have made clear from the very beginning that we are about transparency, accountability, and justice. What we witnessed today was absolutely a farce. From the very beginning, AG Bondi has been obstructing justice. She has perjured herself multiple times, and she has been withholding critical documents that would inform this investigation into a pedophile, into corruption, and possibly quite deeper, because we do not know who was all involved. Today, what their attempt was to push this under the rug, do something off the record that they would not have to be accountable for. So today I did not direct my questions to AG Bondi because she already told us in the hearing that she would not come, or she could not commit to coming to our lawful subpoena in a deposition. So instead I asked Chairman Comer if he would compel her to come to our deposition. If she did not come, would he force her to, or if he would move for contempt hearings as he did for other people who did not respond to our subpoena. Instead of answering as an adult, he said that I was bitching, which is, again, something that would not be allowed if we were operating under the rules of this committee, because engaging in personalities is actually something that we are not able to do. If C-SPAN and the public were there, I'd imagine that he would not act that way. Neither here nor there, we expected AG Bondi to be adversarial. We expected her to be confrontational. And we expected her to not offer us much information. But that's why I introduced impeachment articles, because she has already been obstructing justice. She has already weaponized the DOJ. She has already ended investigations into Trump and his allies. She has used this role essentially as one to help the president. She does not answer to the president. The DOJ does not have the right or the privilege of withholding information from an active investigation, ignoring the laws of our land, which the Epstein Transparency Act is, with our subpoena from last July is. And the oversight Dems will continue to press for accountability. We'll continue to press for justice for survivors while also keeping them centered in this. So at the end of the day, we are still here seeking answers for women, for girls, and for the American public who has demanded justice, who have demanded answers to this, and whether or not they will pretend that the documents that they've given us is enough, we already know that they have not complied, and we are asking other people to make sure that we do not let them off the hook right now. So we look forward to her on-the-record deposition with our committee in response to our lawful subpoena.
I'll say a few more things, and I'm going to open up for questions, and if anyone wants to answer the questions. So just as a review, because I think it's very important, this fake hearing, we found out about it yesterday with no time to prepare, with no format given to us. We had no idea what the even format was going to be until just an hour or two before this kind of fake hearing that was set up. And it was clear from the minute it started that the Attorney General is trying to evade and not attend the mandated subpoena that is put in place. We asked her that question. Multiple members asked her the question. She would not respond. She said she'll continue to follow the law. That is not a response. She has a subpoena in place by Chairman Comer. If there are any questions, I'll take those now.
Sir, aside from the questions about the deposition, which I gather was one of your major focuses, what else have you guys been asking her about? What else has the conversation been in the room been about? Because I know you all said you had a lot of questions for the Attorney General.
So I'm going to let Congressman Lynch.
Yeah. And I support everything that's been said by my colleagues. Remember, our desire to get the Attorney General and Todd Blanche under oath is because we've been faced with lies from the very beginning. Go back to February 21st, 2025. Pam Bondi told us and told the public that the Epstein file client list was on her desk. But then we found out that was a lie. Then she told us that on July 25th, 2025, she said there's no need for any more disclosure on any of these Epstein files. Then we found out later there's 6 million documents. They give us 3 million of those, and now we find that we can't get access to a lot of that information because it's so heavily redacted. And then finally, with much pressure from the court, and actually it took an act of Congress to actually get the Attorney General to participate and to cooperate. And even then, after they said, we'll give you the documents, we find out that they actually held back. They withheld the documents that made reference to President Trump. So she has repeatedly lied to us and so has Todd Blanche, and now they want to get away with coming in here not under oath so that they can lie some more without any consequences. So, you know, we really are about getting to the truth and getting to justice on behalf of all these victims. It is unbelievable that Pam Bondi can sit there in the hearing room like she just did a minute ago and say, yes, there was evidence from 1,200 women, 1,200 women that either came forward themselves and testified to the FBI and gave witness statements and said that they had been assaulted by Epstein and his co-conspirators, or that had gone to attorneys who had brought cases. So 1,200 women are assaulted over a 20-year period, and they can't make a case? They can't make a case for bringing anyone to justice? No one other than Jeffrey Epstein is going to face the consequences here? And then on top of it all, Todd Blanche goes and takes the one key witness, the star witness who was there during all of this, takes her out of a maximum security prison and puts her in a country club type environment. So now she wants to cooperate with no one. She's got what she wants and she can wait this out because she was the one person that could identify Trump and everybody else. And we know there was a pattern of abuse here where we saw young women being taken from Mar-a-Lago to Epstein's Island. That's a fact. That's evidence. And all of this is being, you know, obstructed. The course of justice is being obstructed by the president and by his attorney general and his personal attorney.
Was anything of
Let me-
substance discussed?
We're very little. I mean, the truth is that there were a few questions asked, but other members, of course, asked specifically the Attorney General. I'll have Congressman Frost come in. He specifically also asked her if she would show up to her deposition, and she was very clear. If you want to comment on that.
Look, to me, it's very clear that the purpose of this entire fake hearing, this fake deposition, is the Attorney General trying to weasel herself out of sitting in front of us under oath, under a bipartisan subpoena that we gave her committee. We asked her multiple times, are you going to come and speak with us under oath? She would not say yes. Filibuster would not say yes. And so why do we, and then our Republican colleagues say, is this not enough? Why don't you want to speak to her now? We want her under oath because we do not trust her. Why don't we trust her? Because she's a liar. Look at how that Judiciary Committee hearing went. She was spying on members of Congress when they were in the DOJ looking at the documents unredacted. Look at what she's done as far as not putting documents relating to Donald Trump on the website, not releasing them, and only doing it when the public noticed and said something about it. We want her under oath because we don't trust her. We want her under oath because she has shown that she is involved in a cover-up. My Republican colleagues under the last administration would not stand for this, with Merrick Garland being in front of them not being under oath. They wouldn't allow that to happen for a second. So we see this for what it is. This is not a briefing. A briefing is when we sit down and we're getting information from the person giving the briefing. That didn't happen here. She sat down. They started the clock like a hearing. It's a hearing. It's a fake deposition where no one can see what's going on, where there's zero transcription, where it's not on C-SPAN or anything, and where no one is under oath and they are allowed to freely lie to members of Congress.
Is it ongoing now that you guys have left?
They're still asking their questions. I mean, this is the fake hearing. One more question, then we're done, guys.
Garcia.
Final question?
Are you supportive of these articles of impeachment that Congressman?
Well, I haven't even seen. I actually haven't seen those.
Or can I ask by a show of
I think. Look, at the
hands if any of you are
end of the
supporting
day, what's important right now for us is that we hold Pam Bondi accountable for the subpoena she's about to legally has to show up. That's number one. Everything after that, whether it's contempt, whether it's anything else, all follows. She's got to show up for her deposition. That's all. Thanks, everybody. Not us. This was she suggested.
That's all right.
really helps. Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah, a Republican from.
I moved to Jersey when I was 17.
Yeah.
Well, no, I moved to New York and then New Jersey. So I lived, I grew up in Frederick. I lived in New York. That area was where I lived anywhere else. So I kind of feel more at home now than anywhere else.
Where your wife from?
But like craft, you go a little bit, not too far. Like craft, they don't see like TC? Huh? They don't see like TC? Like Cranford is, you can't watch this deal. Have you looked at the Grand Jersey at all? No. But it's like, Keene is like Essex County, on the Jersey side. Essex County is higher taxes, depending on the town. And then if you get into just outside of that, or Bergen County, Essex County is expensive, but if you get to Union County, which is like 1/3 of the drops, but there's some really nice towns. But it's also like threading the needle with train.
Yeah, how long is the train ride?
That's the thing. I redid Essex County because the train line from like South Island.
We were just up in New Jersey like 2 weeks ago.
Whereabouts?
So I'm gonna say it was like we were in Newark, but then we were like I think everywhere we went.
I was Maplewood is border Newark on one side. So that's how close you are.
So our restaurant was in Orange, like all the places.
Yeah. So that's right where that's sort of where I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There's like West Orange, East Orange, and Orange, which is but then like West Orange is decent. And that's what they still say. So Orange is Maplewood. They also two towns share all the municipal. There's taxes are higher.
Yeah.
But that's where we had our kids were.
That's what I'm saying.
When I moved there, I knew that our was probably DC.
Okay.
So, around that also 1 year.
Yeah.
20 years ago was like 30
Would be years ago.
now it's probably 600.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Like I say, it's like DC prices.
The problem is that the purpose of you guys is that the taxes are higher. But if you go to Cranford, which is one town goes further out, then that is so it's I'm surprised like 35.
I don't think that's bad.
No, it's not. But in Cranford, you don't do the train, you do the bus. But the bus is other Genesis hours.
The bus all the way through?
Bus
All the way, yeah.
But it's when you bus have their own lane, and so they just
Pizza, y'all know? I'll be right back. What?
Talk about
I'd really like to get a slice of pizza, but all right. What do you got?
Sounds like it got pretty heated in there. Can you give us a readout?
Hold on.
Let us know when you're ready.
Who's
ready.
Birch it with two T's? They may need a white balance, or we good?
I'm good.
All right, baby.
Sounds like it got heated in there. Democrats left and frustrated.
Yeah, I mean, that's all staged. We knew that was going to happen. They started off at the beginning. They didn't want to ask questions. I mean, why not? You could, and they said, we're going to wait till whenever. Why not ask them then and then ask them again? And then if she said something that was totally different, you'd have them. No, it was all either one or two things. Either they decided all to do that beforehand, or they were trying to get to the pizza before I did. But one of those two things.
Is it true that the Attorney General wouldn't confirm to a deposition that she was asked this multiple times but was filibustering and not giving a clear response?
She said she's going to stick to the law, and whatever the law is, that's what it is. So I'm not the attorney, but that was a legal answer, and that's what she's required to do as the Attorney General.
And Congresswoman Lee said that she directed a question to Chairman Comer saying, is asking him if he would force the Attorney General to comply with the subpoena, and she claims that Comer said that she was bitching. Can you confirm that he said that?
I wasn't paying. If he said that, I didn't hear it. I'm not saying he didn't say it, but it did get heated. But it was all staged. I mean, you know, you could tell it because it just built up to it, and then Certain ones that you knew would start screaming and raising their voice, and the others would rise up in righteous indignation. But you know, every conversation I've had with them has been wide open. They've not given me the runaround, and they offered if we want to come by the office, do that. And I've had conversations with them. I've never honestly gone by their office. I've never wanted to, but I had a phone call with them not long ago, and made an inquiry, and 15 minutes later I was on the phone with them.
What questions, if any, were asked about Billy and Maxwell being transferred to another prison? I knew that.
The Democrats didn't ask any questions. They just made statements.
What about Republicans? Anyone asked about the Maxwell transfer?
No. I think we were just trying to get to the nuts and bolts of the victims and the perpetrators. And I want to correct something. Some of my Democrat colleagues kept saying, or somebody kept saying they had sex with these kids. They didn't have sex with those kids. They raped those kids. So I'd like to clarify that. I hate it when I hear people say that. That turns my stomach.
Did you get to ask a question?
Do what?
Did you get to ask questions?
Yeah. I was curious about, I don't understand the law in this respect. I passed a lot of laws in Tennessee during some of the toughest laws in the country. ICAC, I passed a death penalty. It was ruled unconstitutional, but now the courts in Tennessee have repassed it in later years, and it's been found legal. I had two questions. One was dealing with one of them was dealing with, let's see, if some of when they were children that were abused or raped, and then when they got to be adults, if they were used to either lure or brought others in for whatever reason, were they then in that turn, were they breaking the law? Were they perpetrators in all this? And it's a case-by-case thing, so you have to diagnose each one, and that's what I was really trying to find out, because I've heard that a lot from both sides, that people have read the files and seen things. And my other one dealt with doxing of some of the people that have been, because I know that some of my friends across the aisle have thrown some names out, and we're not really sure if they were involved or not. So, I mean, when Comer was doing it, remember when Chairman Comer was doing it before the legislation, he'd released over 10,000 files. And I dare say anybody read all 10,000 pages. And then when they were forced to release the files, they, in their haste, they could have released some names of people they didn't intend to, but they hadn't under the Comer situation. So Chairman Comer was doing it, and he was releasing them, but there's allegedly millions of files.
Congressman, do you feel like the deposition is still necessary now that the Attorney General came in and talked to you guys for own court?
I don't think it's going to matter either way. I think you're going to have people that want to make a show for y'all on both sides of the aisle. So I think people are going to relish it. They're going to wear their good suits and come in on that day, fired up to get some press.
But you had voted to subpoena her. So
oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's a legitimate thing to do. So but I don't know we haven't got any questions answered, and the fact that you can go there and ask the questions. It's sort of like when people want to have public forums, and really all they want to do is yell at you in front of the cameras. And then when I offer those same people the opportunity to come to my office and talk one-on-one or with their whole group, bring them in, they never want to do that. So it's kind of, I just feel like it's a political thing. You got a right to do it, and we have a right to subpoena them. But again, I'm not an attorney, so that's up to legal interpretation, I guess.
Democrats said that there should be contempt.
I can't hear you. Go ahead.
Democrats said there should be contempt proceedings if she doesn't comply with the subpoena. Is that something you would support?
I don't know. Again, I just have to look at the legal interpretation of what's going on with that. I would assume I don't think she's trying to duck anybody out. And she hasn't run off on any questions. She answered all their questions when they asked them. Their frustration was with us on our side of the aisle, not with her.
So was this enough for you? Do you think she should come back with a...
I don't know what else you're going to ask her. It's the same stuff, same questions over and over and over again. You're going to get the same answer. I just, it's unfortunate that we're at this stage, but one thing I'm focused on too was, I mean, this is the tip of the iceberg of what's going on in our country and in our world. These deviants are out there, and we need to go after them. And this is not isolated to Epstein's Island. It's in every state. When I passed ICAC, I was getting the unbelievable amount of $5 million for our 3 grand divisions, the state of Tennessee. And I know that's nothing, but in Tennessee, that was a lot of money. And a lady who was sitting beside me, she's a Democrat, was a dear friend of mine, and she asked about one of her small counties. And they had the board lit up, and you could see who was, and ICAC goes after people, they pose as children on the computer, and and then the dirt bags think they're kids, and they're going to go rape them in a motel room, and then they have the cops waiting there. Fortunately, they don't beat the crap out of them. They do all the other stuff, arrest them. But my point was, in this small little county, there were 3 lights lit up at that time. And this was, gosh, this was almost 20 years ago. And there were 3 dirt bags trying to lure children in at that time in her little county. And that's when I knew I was going to get $5 million funding.
Was the Attorney General or Deputy Attorney General asked about the redaction process and why some names were redacted that shouldn't be, or how did they explain or answer for that?
Yeah, they said that, from what I understood was like what I'd said, they were in the rush, that if there were mistakes made, it was due to that. But if you look at Comer's deal, when he was getting the files, again, 10,000 files in just a short amount of time, that nobody had read all 10,000 files, we didn't have that problem. We good?
Yes.
Everybody? All right. Anybody know where the pizza is? Seriously.
I can smell it, but I don't know where it is.
Really?
Yeah.
Where you
I don't
doing?
know, maybe over there?
All right. See y'all. Don't forget, on the Birch administration, there'll be pizza for everybody. All right, there you go.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was wondering if someone else had. I mean, you can ask, I don't think there's any technical rule against it. I might ask.
I think there's a social faux pas about it.
No, I'm kidding.
It would be pretty fun.
I do, yeah.
I think definitely.
Let's get out the question too.
Freelance world is.
Yeah. Well, then,
That's true. Somebody was doing it during the compressor. You guys hear the sound go off? So like he was doing it.
Yeah, I don't know what the sound is.
you're not going to get them in the Great Lakes.
And education. You ever heard of that?
I think about
So it's like New York. My first in somewhere in Texas. I'll be Chicago. I'll definitely go to LA, so they're exclusive. I feel like everybody.
no, I mean, I had a, I think I had a grad. So I dated a girl who was I'd hang out with both brothers, you know, who were involved with TV or anything. It was like, but if you were hanging out with like so people who were trying to do something like that, I could put it's like these years but there's a lot of people who were always networking, you know. But living in my good friends. I was a gun dealer.
It isn't.
Actually, my favorite year, it's going to be over. Yeah. But there's a couple of really nice little neighborhoods.
Best case.
I poke it out. I didn't mind it there, even though the plane, you know, even with the plane.
DC.
But also near Glendale.
Which guy are you too busy as with the Sure.
But Los Feliz is
I think that was when he was
They made it okay.
yeah, but on the eastern side.
And then he did that's the movie I think
Where in Texas?
no, anywhere except for Dallas. All these are the only place that would be that I wouldn't mind being like, okay, this is it. It's Atlanta. Whichever one is the rest of them are all
Yeah. I also would the guy who's Seattle. I like the wet. I like the permanent. Like winter is like November, and summer is October. So it's just I like that. The weather there's.
Did you go back to New York? Yeah. Oh, really?
But
You doing this day to day? You already?
I would, if I had to do it, it would be nice to do it. You know, like my miracle was for a while, not to on the edge of 40 minutes. But like my two older sons, both really miss the town difference that I miss is that every time, this is also what the taxes are saying, so it's kind of like, getting what you pay for, but not everything. Every time I start
I thought maybe
older, so
curious, like if you're 14, you can walk down to this little town, there's a shop, there's a movie theater, so but it's all walking. My guys walk. After third grade, you could walk to school. All the
Is it? Before I spent time in Red Day.
Yeah, that's.
And that was super cool where it's like walkable.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah, it's all.
No.
Somebody go.
That's okay. You want to know? Sorry.
Michael.
I'm going to circle around. Yeah, actually, that's a good call. I'm going to steal that idea from you. Steal it.
It looks like.
There you go. Wonder. See that? When she walks up the back. Oh, I know. That's where they're trying to put on the big transparency show.
She said she was going to Indiana. Your staff had just said she was.
Okay, stop.
Or said she's coming out.
You did say that.
Did you say she was coming here or coming in?
There was a qualifier on that one. So I think. So.
I think the
Never know. President Trump decided to use your background out the open. It would be really funny if she came that way.
It'll be pretty soon.
Cool. Do we know, is she definitely talking?
Yeah.
Good, thank you. Cool.
Not this one.
Bondi, you cut your hair. You're fine.
You have to poke her head out and then just go right back inside for a second.
No, that's why. You don't want heels on you. It's like I literally tell board deals once when I first took it. All the time. I didn't used to know when I was. Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
Collected oaths.
Oh, not true. Oh, yeah, no, there's yeah, meet up there. Yeah. Oh, and you're pointing to I did do the luck. Yeah, the luck is good.
Huh.
Double check the doors are unlocked before they send principal through. Works like an idiot.
I always had black. I always had black.
Yeah,
That's right. My name serves that.
so fun. And like useful.
Questions?
Madam Attorney General?
Sure.
Earlier this month, a bipartisan group of lawmakers on the House Oversight Committee voted to subpoena you to appear for a closed-door deposition. Do you plan? Will you commit to complying with that subpoena and appearing for a closed-door deposition?
I made it crystal clear. I will follow the law.
But
Next
does that
question.
mean you will? Does that
Next
mean you will
question.
Victim attorneys say that the release of Epstein, identifying Epstein victims, was one of the single most egregious violations of victim privacy in a modern American history. You built your career on being a victim advocate.
Yeah.
Will you apologize to the victims? What do you have to say for that conduct?
Can you explain what you mean by identify? You mean victims' names that were released that shouldn't have been?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then
So
also other
yeah. So under the Epstein Transparency Act, we had 30 days to redact and release under the law that was passed 3 million documents. If you stack those up, that's the height of the Eiffel Tower. No other administration, under the Biden administration, they released 0 documents. So we did our very best to comply with the law. And of course, we don't want any victim to be further victimized. And that's why we had 500 attorneys with the Criminal Division, with the National Security Division, with the FBI working around the clock to do the best we could. I think it was less than 1% error. Todd, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, no, that's right. We said from the beginning that any mistakes that were made, and there should be no mistakes. And so when you say lawyers have said something, that's not a fair question, and you know it. Because we took pains to protect victims. When when someone identified that there was a victim, we immediately pulled that document down, fixed it, and put it back up.
Immediately.
Immediately. And so of course we don't ever want to do anything to re-victimize anybody that was victimized by the horrible crimes of Mr. Epstein, and we didn't to the extent that mistakes were made, and there were mistakes made because of the reasons the Attorney General just said. But when they were identified to us, we fixed them immediately.
And let me be clear on this case. This case has spanned multiple administrations. It started under Bush. It went to Obama. It went to Biden. We were the only, no documents were released, only under the Trump administration. And we released 3 million documents, had 500 attorneys working on that, complying with the law the best we could, and protecting victims in doing it.
Madam Attorney General, this
ahead.
has been quite an odyssey for you. This began with an encounter you had with some activists in the Roosevelt Room where you handed out some binders. Then there was a discussion, a statement that the FBI and DOJ put out that this investigation was over. Flash ahead to a couple of weeks ago, you had a very unusual appearance before the House Judiciary Committee. do you have any regrets? Is there anything you might have done differently? And do you think that your comportment and the department's comportment in this have exacerbated the public's lack of trust in this process?
Well, let me repeat what I just said. This has spanned 4 administrations: Bush, Obama, well, Trump 1, 45, where Jeffrey Epstein was prosecuted, and then Joe Biden's administration, where 0 documents were provided. We have provided 3 million documents. 3 million documents, the height of the Eiffel Tower, used 500 attorneys working around the clock, have identified, either they self-identified or through their attorneys, 1,200 victims who we did our very, very best to protect their identities. And so we're proud of the work that we've done on this.
Like
Go ahead. Next question.
Democrats on the committee walked out. They called it a, quote, fake hearing and said you were just trying to get around appearing for a deposition. Can you respond to this?
Sure. We were there to answer questions. It's the evening. We came at their convenience. We gave them really as much time as they wanted. And one congresswoman screamed C-SPAN wasn't in there, so she didn't want to ask questions. Yet all day long they've been on social media saying they had all these questions. We sat there saying, anything you want to ask us, anything you want to ask us. And they screamed C-SPAN wasn't there, one of them, and then they stormed out of the meeting. So
Can you just
thank you all.
Can you
Thank you. Have a good night.
Contact
Thank you.
with victims. Some victims have said they aren't satisfied with responses they've received from your office.
Jesus.
That is filmed, but would be released. There'd be a transcript. Because they're not the same person.
Go. Of course, have fun.
It'll be the same with the video, it's fine. We can do it in front of the doors.
All right, well, appreciate the Attorney General coming in for a briefing. This was a voluntary briefing, and at least majority got to ask a lot of substantive questions. It was very disappointing what the Democrats have done. I believe that was premeditated. They came out clutching their pearls, complaining that she wasn't answering any questions and things like that. The first 3 people to ask questions, all they did was complain. They didn't ask any questions. The Attorney General's here, but they said they wanted C-SPAN in here. They want the cameras, and very, very typical behavior of the Democrats. Very disappointing, because I really felt like there were a lot of the Democrat members that cared about getting the truth. But I've never seen members storm out of a briefing with the Attorney General and the entire leaders of the Department of Justice are there to answer questions, and they don't ask a single question. So, but I think what we heard today helped us. We'll continue with our investigation and move forward. Any questions, Andy?
Will you still move forward with the subpoena for Attorney General?
That's what we plan on doing.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
If Attorney General Pam Bondi does not comply with the subpoena, will you commit to go down the road of contempt?
Well, we'll have to talk about it. I will tell you, some of the members who voted to subpoena her today were pretty embarrassed by the way the Democrats acted and their lack of sincerity in having her in.
But will you hold the Attorney General to the same standard?
Well, we'll have to talk about it. We'll have to talk about it as a committee. So.
Chairman, when you say some of the members who voted for the subpoena were those are Republican members who have been subpoenaed. Did
Yeah.
they ask her pressing questions in the room?
They did.
Okay.
Hard-hitting, substantive questions.
And what were the
Well,
substantive
and I told the Attorney General, I spoke on numerous occasions. I'm like, we are serious about this investigation. This isn't a political game. Our constituents want answers. The American people want answers. We want to work with you. If we're going down a lane where you have an ongoing investigation, then tell us. We don't want to interfere or impede, but we plan on moving forward. We plan on getting answers for the American people, and hopefully we'll be able to get more answers. And you know, I think everyone hopes that some people are held accountable to where we can get some accountability. But as I've said earlier, we're seeing accountability. There are over a dozen men and women who have already resigned from very powerful, prestigious boards because of what has come out in public. And what's come out in public is because of the oversight subpoena of the DOJ documents and the oversight subpoena of the Epstein estate documents. So I'll do one more question.
Congresswoman Summerlee said that you told her that she was, quote, bitching about something
Mhm.
in the room. Is that accurate?
That is accurate.
What? What was she?
Well, she was just complaining about the format. And that was the fourth Democrat to ask questions. And they didn't ask any questions. They did not ask any questions. I'm like, my goodness, this is Attorney General. You've been complaining. And this is why I think they did that. Because they've worked with some of you in the media to try to create a false narrative that there's a cover-up. Does it look like a cover-up? The Attorney General and Blanche and all the top brass at the DOJ in here to answer questions, and yet they don't ask a single question. The only questions they ask, will you commit to coming in for a deposition? Will you commit to coming in for a deposition? They didn't ask a single question. Where are we on the documents? Do you say there's an ongoing investigation? Do you think anyone is about to be prosecuted? Was Jeffrey Epstein an agent? These are questions that we ask in the deposition, and they had an opportunity to ask, and they didn't. But fortunately for everyone in the public who wants answers and who wants transparency and accountability, fortunately the Republicans on the committee asked a lot of questions. So,
Mr. Chairman, a follow-up. Do you want her to testify under oath, you personally?
I mean, I want to talk to everyone. I want to talk to everyone. I don't.
But this was not
I personally don't see any reason for her to do a deposition. She's the sitting Attorney General. She's turning over documents. I think the Democrats want to do this to embarrass her. I did not vote for the subpoena to bring her in for a deposition. I want to bring in the bad guys for the deposition. I want to bring in the men who have abused women. I want to bring in anyone who is involved in the prosecution or lack of prosecution of Epstein, Maxwell, and some of these other guys. So that's where I think our time and energy should be spent. But we had 5 Republicans vote with the Democrats. And again, the Democrats had an opportunity to ask questions. They didn't ask a single pertinent question.
Is the White House reaching out to some of these Republicans who voted for the subpoena?
Not to my knowledge. You'll have to ask the White House. I'll do one more question.
Mr. Comer, do you think today's briefing helps satisfy any of those members who were
The Democrats?
or Republicans?
I think the
Who wanted more
Republicans that
in-depth?
had concerns, now Ms. Mace wasn't able to be here today, but you look at the other ones that voted for the subpoena, they asked very tough, substantive, hard-hitting questions and pressed her on some answers. So I don't know. You'll have to ask them, but I feel like that they were happy with the dialogue, and this isn't the end. We want to keep working with the Department of Justice because we sincerely want to get every answer that every curious, credible media outlet has and every curious, credible American has. But, what I saw today, quite frankly, was the Democrats trying to, embarrass Pam Bondi, trying to get that clip for Rachel Maddow tonight on MSNBC, trying to somehow salvage their false narrative that there's a cover-up and that Trump's guilty of crimes. It's very disappointing because, as I've said a million times to you all, and I will walk out of here, the investigation is about getting justice for the victims. The investigation's about getting transparency for the American people. The investigation's about trying, if in any way possible, to hold many people accountable, recognizing the fact that some of these crimes were committed 30 years ago. We're going to keep pressing forward. We've got 8 people coming in. We have 7 depositions scheduled. We've asked the security guard to come in. If she doesn't, she will get a subpoena. There are some other people on our radar list. We're going to ask some of the people that we bring in for depositions some questions to maybe determine whether or not we're going to bring in more people for depositions. We expect Lutnick to come in very soon. We have some members of the committee have questions for him. No one's accusing him of any wrongdoing. But at the end of the day, I hope you all recognize, we've brought in Bondi for question. We brought in Bill Barr for a deposition. We brought in Alex Acosta. We're going to bring in Lutnick. I don't ever remember the Democrat. I've been on the committee 9 years, the whole time I've been Congress. I don't ever remember Elijah Cummings or Carolyn Maloney bringing in a single Democrat prominent person for anything. So this isn't about party. This, for us, for the Republicans, it's about getting answers. For the Democrats, it's a political game, and they just demonstrated that today. There's no reason for them to walk out and clutch their pearls and act like they were offended and outraged and everything else. My gosh. I think the American people saw their true colors today, but that's not going to deter the Republicans from moving forward. So thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Just a reminder, any garbage, please take your garbage with you.
I was trying to shoot it.
I did take a picture of it, I can't remember what it was. I didn't know what it meant. It's like a name.
It's a life certificate.
Yeah, no, that, I think that's what it's called. Yeah.
I mean, I was
Some of the stuff that Dad's a little bit
Trump was right about everything.
If you guys could just put the mic stand, like, just tuck it into the corner when you're done.
Excellent.
Because I need it for the memo anyway.
Yeah.